There we go. That should do. Right? Are we good? Yes, there we are. Hello again, friends. Welcome back to twitch.tv/SuperBerry, where we're doing something just a little bit different. For what is me is New Year's Eve. We're just about 3 hours away from ticking over into 2024. So I thought one thing I might do here right quick is what I wanted to do is just make a quick little tier list of all the games I have played on stream since I started streaming back in October of 2022. Now, these are not all the games I have played, period, but I'm just limiting it to the ones we have played on stream, so you've all have had a chance to see them as well. And this is a thing from tiermaker.com. They do things with like S, A, B, C, D, but I changed the headings just a little bit because I don't really play games that I don't like, and if it gets to where I'm playing a game I don't like, I stop. So I have liked all of these games. There's a question like, one, how much, and then two, how likely is it that I am going to play them again? So let's get started. So, Alien Isolation, one of the stretch goals from our Stack Up fundraiser back in May. Very stressful, frustrating in parts, but honestly, I had fun playing this one. I would say it is. We're not going to definitely play it again, but I can see myself revisiting it. It might be like maybe for a Halloween type thing. There's a time of year we just want to play some spooky games. Yeah, the DLC weren't great. The ones that were just scenes from the original Alien movie, those were pretty good, but short. And the other ones are just like time attacks, basically, and I'm not really interested in that. Behind the Frame. This was part of our Lunar New Year showcase earlier this year. It's a short and sweet visual novel. A painter and her relationship with her neighbor. Is mostly a visual novel. There's some puzzle elements. You know, I enjoyed playing it, but there also wasn't a whole lot there. I think we got the whole thing done and dusted in, I think, less than a stream. So that, I mean, I liked it, but I don't see us going back to it. Okay, Boyfriend Dungeon. That was the action roguelike / dungeon crawler / dating sim that got us into, or that I found out after the fact, got us on the radar of Stack Up in the first place. See, it was an action combat, but it didn't take itself too seriously, and it had a sweet message behind it. I can maybe see us going back to it, but I did off stream. I went and got the maxed out the relationships with all the characters, so there's not a whole lot for me there. Again, fun game, recommend. It's and actually if action isn't necessarily your thing, that's kind of a good bridge. And you can enjoy the dating sim elements as much as the actual combat. Okay, Chinese Parents. Chinese Parents was another Lunar New Year one, and this is kind of like the forerunner of growing up. It's a life sim. Like you basically you are a kid in China, and you have the experience of growing up, all the academic pressures, trying to make friends, maybe romantic relationships, and most importantly, preparing yourself for the Gaokao. It does. It is obvious, being originally a Chinese game, from the mainland, there are elements that might be, foreign, for lack of a better word, to people who aren't familiar with it. But and there are memes, and if you're not into the Chinese meme culture, you might miss out on some of the humor. But all told, I liked it, and there's lots of replay value because there's the different relationships you can end up with, different career paths you can pursue. So yeah, I think that was, as if like more likely to replay that than Boyfriend Dungeon. And speaking of dungeon crawling, Darkest Dungeon. This was another stretch goal from the Stack Up fundraiser. Yeah, I think it was the first one we went to after we finished playing Nogoa. And this one, it definitely has a steep learning curve. It's honestly, it's unforgiving without being unfair. And I say that this one run, I only did one playthrough, and playing that from start to finish took about 90 hours, and that I didn't even finish off all the bosses. But still, it was as much like Alien Isolation. It was stressful and frustrating in parts. But I think once I got my head around the game, it was easier to manage. And where I think this is where I started using that phrase, stressful fun. I say it is. I can see myself coming back to this because there is the Crimson Court DLC. There's another DLC. I think that has endless mode, and there's mods aplenty. So yeah, the odds are good we can come back to that. Okay, Dredge. Dredge was and is like one of my like 1 or 1A for my game of the year. And we actually played it twice this year, on the initial release, and then in November when when that Arctic biome DLC came out. I mean, it's right up there. And from what I understand, like the DLC that did come out was actually a compromise, because there is the devs at Black Salt Games had a bigger, more involved DLC plan, but they just didn't have the time or the resources to finish it when they needed to. So they released the one they did, and so it sounds like they're going to continue, and then they're going to bring out that other DLC. And if and or when that happens, we're going to jump right back into Dredge. Okay, Dungeon Munchies. Dungeon Munchies was this was another Lunar New Year submission. This was from a Taiwanese studio, and it was kind of a Metroidvania where the risen zombie / unpaid intern. You basically go through levels, and then you gain powers by eating all sorts of various concoctions made by your boss and her one-time friend, now antagonist. So again, this was fun. I don't know that there's a lot of replay value to it. I think we hit pretty much every. If we didn't get all the achievements, we got most of them. Again, good fun. Lots of clever references. I don't see myself coming back to it. Okay, Elden Ring. And you can hear in the background we do have the Elden Ring opening screen on. I'm going to do. I think I have like what about 20, 25, 26 hours in. I'm going to put it here for the simple reason it's an incomplete grade. I mean, I said I'm about like 25-ish hours in. I'm still only just getting started. I think I think yeah, in yesterday's stream we beat our first demigod, like our first like big capital B shard bearing boss, and we need to do that at least once more if we want to like get to the end of the game. So yeah, we got a lot of Elden Ring ahead of us if we want to complete it. And I will say, when I first started, I said I made no promises that we would finish it. Now, I might be okay with actually doing that. We'll see. Golf with Friends. This was from our 300 follower celebration in our 1-year stream anniversary. This is very much a special occasion game because it's not. It's literally in the title, golf with your friends. It's not the kind of thing you do on your own. Okay, growing as we mentioned, like the very much in a similar vein to Chinese parents, but instead of being set in a Chinese context, it's set in a Western context. It's kind of vague. Maybe it's the U.S., maybe it's the U.K. The slang kind of goes back and forth. But I'll put this in the same tier as Chinese parents. I can see myself coming back to it, even just for like a comfort replay. Just it's one particular stream. I don't really want to do anything new or challenging. I don't want to kick back, relax, and chat. That could be a growing up stream. Okay, Hades. Right, as I said, the most actiony, combat-heavy game I have played before getting into Elden Ring. More so than Boyfriend Dungeon. Now, I dabbled in it earlier, but the main reason I picked this up again this year, because there's another streamer I follow named Highland, and one of the things he was saying on his stream was that anyone who's a regular in his stream and actually puts their mind to it and practices, they should be able to clear 32 heat, which is like kind of like the bar for the game has nothing left to give you. And I figured, what the hell? So I tried it. I started with me having no clears and very little story progression, and then over the 80 or so hours I've done this, almost all on stream, I finished the main story, got the epilogue, cleared out I think most, if not all, of the Fated Prophecies, and eventually I did get a win at 32 heat. But there's still way more to do in there. I got the 32 heat clear with one particular aspect, but there's 6 of them. So I could easily see myself coming back to Hades and then trying those other aspects. All right, a Highland Song. This was a recent release. You play Moira McKinnon, 15 years old, running away from home, going into the Scottish Highlands to go visit your uncle at his lighthouse, for reasons that become clear eventually. It's a partly platformer, part rhythm game with an absolute banger of a soundtrack. It's like Highland or Celtic music speaks to you at all, that is definitely one to try. And there's a whole there's maps you can find that take you to shortcuts. And there's different story elements in there, not just the main story one. There's lots of there's NPCs you meet on the way. We did we get a an ending you get when you get there too late, and then we got an ending when you get there early, or early being on time. So ending wise, I don't know how much more we have to do, but there is more. I mean, there's one whole path we never actually took, so maybe it's a good game. Solid recommend. Maybe we revisit it. Okay, I was a Teenage Exocolonist. Easy, easy, top tier. And then we had 2 playthroughs this year, and I really enjoyed both. And then there's so much replayability. Like, you can customize your character. There's 37 different endings and different, like, relationships you can pursue. I had a blast playing it, and it's very likely we'll come back to it. Hey, Will, good to see you. If Potion Craft isn't in one and done, you rage. I say again, Will. We'll get there. Okay, Jackbox Party Pack. Again, much the same as Golf with Friends. It's a gathering. It's one to play with friends in a group setting. Not the sort of thing you do on your own, on stream. Right. Love Choice. Another, again, similar to Behind the Frame, visual novel. Definite, like, a heavy emphasis on romance and relationships. This was another Lunar New Year choice. Absolutely stonking, a huge number of reviews on Steam. So that's what led me to try. And it's short. I don't see much replay value in it, but it's a good game, very heartfelt. It's not very expensive. So if you want just a short little visual novel that you can just luxuriate in for a little bit, I would say Love Choice good, but again, not. We've got pretty much everything we can get out of it. So again, probably not going back to that one. All right, My Friendly Neighborhood. Another latecomer in this year's selection. I know it looks cute, and it does. It is cute, but it's cuteness with a heavy survival horror. It's like Resident Evil meets Sesame Street. And we I think in our playthrough we got, I think, what is like the mega happy ending. So now we got the term, like, the story arc. We've got everything we can get out of that. There is also a timed mode that got they got, I think they call it Neighbor Horde mode. I I don't know about that one. I think this is probably, again, a maybe March. Maybe we busted out on a for spooky season again. Okay, Orgynizer. This one was probably about as saucy as we get here on stream. And it's, the name suggests it is, like, not safe for work. Not so. It's basically what it is. It's basically one big logistics puzzle where you have a bunch of rooms and a bunch of people and a bunch of things they want to do, and you have to put the right people with the right other people in the right room with the right activities or gear. Now, if you play the adult version, quote unquote, it is basically organizing an orgy. And there's also a safer work mode where you're just organizing a party. And I was like, it's not for everyone. Maybe even not for most people. But if you're the kind of people who really likes organizing and fussing over those kind of details, Orgynizer is a sleeper hit. I'm going to put this in the special occasion one. I say it's probably more likely to come back to than say some of these visual novels. But it is very niche content, but I liked it. Okay, Peglin. This is basically a pachinko slash roguelike where you play Peglin, this adorable looking goblin, legally distinct from any Star Wars properties, and you basically you go through a series of it very much has like some Slay the Spire elements to it, especially the map. But instead of having a deck you build, you get a series of orbs, like the orbs with different kind of abilities that you put into the little pachinko area, and then whatever points you rack up, then that is the damage you do to the enemies across from you. Now we didn't get a whole lot of play out of this one. I'm gonna put it here like I can see us coming back to it. I say Peglin is fun, but again, it's still incomplete. So we're going to see where it goes from here. I think it might even still be in early access. I'm not 100% sure on that. Okay, Will, brace yourself. Now, Potion Craft. Potion Craft, we went hard on this one, especially I think late last year. I can remember like I had a stream going right when the World Cup final was going to come on. It went 1.0, I think, last December, and then we didn't hear anything from the dev team for months and months and months. And then recently, there was a large update, but it was all quality of life stuff. No actual new content. But they just tell us that they're still working on it. Now, here's the thing. The first 95% of Potion Craft I absolutely adore. You're running your own like medieval potion store, engaging in alchemy. You're getting ingredients. You're navigating a map, making different kinds of potions for different customers' requests. And in an update, you can be a goody two shoes. You can go full evil, and then those influence the kind of NPCs you get. And like I said, for the first, basically everything up to the end game, I really like. And then I get to the end game, and you have to hit a certain number of popularity points and reputation before you can complete each chapter, and each chapter is it unlocks the next part of the game. And getting the chapter 10 took such an extraordinarily long time, it almost put me off the game altogether. I think it took me longer to finish chapter 10 than it took me to finish chapters 7, 8, and 9 combined. So here is my verdict on Potion Craft. I'm giving it a conditional likely replay. Now, this is the condition. 1, there needs to be new content. Now, the devs are based in Russia, and things there are not great at the moment, to say the least. So I understand if it's taking them a while and things are, if they're having issues. 1, I need to see new content from them. They're promising like a new revamped garden system, a crystal mine, mushroom caves. If that is the case, we're definitely coming back to it. But I need to see new content, and I need to see them do something about the end game grind. If I don't see that, it's one and done. So if I could put an asterisk here, I would. Okay, Rogue Tower. I really wanted to like Rogue Tower, and when I first started playing it, I did. It's a roguelike tower defense game where you have you have cards, and then you do your usual tower defense thing where you you put your ballistas or your mortars or whatever on the terrain, and then you defend against waves of incoming enemies. And as you gain more meta currency, you get higher tier weapons, more buffs, that kind of thing. Typical roguelike, right? Initially, really fun. But as the game's development went on and on and on, the dev, because it was a one-person operation, the dev kind of nerfed a lot of the fun out of it. Now, I don't know why. If he was like, well, among the other things, he refused to add a speed-up button, and so which made, unless you modded one in, it made a playthrough almost. It made it way longer than it should have been. Now, I'm not going to fault him for sticking to his vision, but that refusal really made it, that and some of the other design choices really made it hard to stick with. So, as far as I'm concerned, Rogue Tower is a one and done. Nice game. I liked what I got from it, but I'm not going back to it. And I think the development on the game is done, so that's nothing in contention there. Okay, Slay the Princess. Again, this and Dredge, one of the, I was like 1 and 1A for my game of the year. Slay the Princess had lots of replay value, a killer story, great art, and the voice acting just top notch all the way through. And I think, looking at what I've seen, some of the updates from the devs, I think they are still doing some work on it, so there might be more. But I'll say we only got a handful of the endings, I believe. There's like 97 Steam achievements. So I think for our one playthrough, we got like maybe a third of them. So yeah, pretty good we're coming back to that. Backpack Hero. Okay, Backpack Hero recently out in 1.0. Speaking of roguelikes, it is Backpack Hero took what was just a really good roguelike in early access, and then the devs added a town management element on top. And it's good. My concern is that some of the meta currency in the town building element can be a little grindy, as meta currency often is in roguelikes. Really good game overall, and they're still making development. They're still adding things to it. I'm going to put this in a strong, likely replay. But to the devs' credit, in addition to the story mode, which is the part that has the town builder, they also have a quick play mode, which is basically what the game was in early access. You have everything unlocked at the start. You can just jump straight in and make whatever kind of builds you can cobble together. So, smart decision by them. Okay, Surviving Mars. I would say for years and years before I started streaming, Surviving Mars was my go-to chill-out game. You just pick a spot on Mars, and what is it? The game is like you again, you are running a Mars colony. You can pick a number of nations or potential sponsors, either governments or private corporations, or a church even, and you have to set the table for humans to arrive, bring in humans, keep them alive, and then over time rank up your technology, expand the colony, make sure everyone stays fed, hydrated, warm, they don't go insane. And they're all, in addition to just the struggle of keeping a colony going, there are in-game missions or story elements that you can do. So I liked it a lot, and I still do. Then the Below and Beyond DLC came, and it broke so much of the game, and broke my heart too. Like, it was so bad and so buggy. I had to stop playing. And I think, like, back in the early days of this stream, I think I went back to revisit it. Played a couple streams. I enjoyed it. I like sharing it with people. But I think the development on it is pretty much done. So even though I can, you can turn off the content from that DLC and play everything else. All the other DLC on it, really good. Recommend for basically all the ones except Below and Beyond. But for a game on stream, it's probably marginal. Okay, The Long Dark. Utter garbage. I don't know why anyone plays it. It's a boring walking sim. Nothing happens. Totally unrealistic. I mean, I don't. And they haven't even completed story mode. I don't know why anyone even bought. Come on, come on. It is our main game here. I think I just recently got past 800 hours in The Long Dark, and I want to keep coming back to it. It's just that good. And even though the game is almost 10 years old, there's still new content being added. They're still tweaking, and the community around the game is just so fantastic that even if the new content stopped tomorrow, I'd still keep playing it because I love the people that the game brings me in contact with. So yeah, rest assured, even though we now have all the Steam achievements, we're going to come back to The Long Dark. And finally, Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines, featuring the finest technology 2004 has to offer. Yeah, the game came out back in 2004. But we've done a couple playthroughs. The game is, and let me put this gently, a little out of step with modern sensibilities. There are definitely some problematic elements, but all told, it's still a really solid action RPG. And there's also a lively modding community. And with, according to Steam and according to the announcements they've seen so far, Bloodlines 2 could come out this year. Now, it's been in development hell for years and years, but it is in the hands of a competent studio that is not about to go bankrupt, and it has Paradox Studios, or it has Paradox overseeing it as a publisher. Now, whether that's a positive or a negative, I'll leave that to y'all. But with the likelihood that Bloodlines 2 is going to come out this year, we're probably going to have at least one more playthrough of Bloodlines 1, and I'm going to keep an eye on the development for Bloodlines 2, and I'm going to keep my fingers crossed. I am cautiously optimistic, but I mean, I know that the people in the Steam forums are going to just moan and rage and whatever, but I'm cautiously optimistic. It's going to be good. Maybe not great, not what it could be, but I still think it could be good. So yes, more Bloodlines on the way. Again, maybe even probably when it gets closer to when Bloodlines 2 is going to come out. So there we go. There is our rundown of the games that I have played on stream here on Twitch. And with that done, what do you say we get started on a little more Elden Ring, and we can roll into 2024 on a high, or a crushing low. depending on how rude Elden Ring wants to be to us.